Hi. I'm sorry, my voice cracked for a minute. Hi, this is Trey Pastor. I'm going to do a review of The Bride. This is the Maggie Gyllenhaal film. I think this is the first film she's directed, I think. Okay, anyway, this is basically her reimagining of the whole Bride of Frankenstein legend. Jessie Buckley, I think that's her name, who plays, Jessie Buckley. She plays the bride. Kristen Bale plays the Frankenstein monster. You have Annette Bening as a scientist. I think you have Penelope Cruz and Peter Skarsgård in this as well. They play, I think, detectives, hunting down. But basically, I think they're trying. It's a weird film. It's just, but they kind of take the old Bride of Frankenstein uh, mythos and they kind of play around with it. And it's set in 1930s, I think, Chicago. The Frankenstein monster, he comes to Chicago. He's lonely, played by Christian Bale. Okay, and he wants a bride. He literally wants a bride. He meets his scientist, played by Annette Bening, and he tells her that he's lonely and he wants a bride. And he convinces her, and they dig up a body. Okay, and they reanimate her. Okay, and they at first, of course, the bride played by Jessie Buckley, she's a little off. You can tell she's a little off. She doesn't reject him like she does, in the original movie. Uh, but she's just a little standoffish and weird. And then eventually they start going out, and they start basically, going out. And they kind of bond, and they kind of start this whole rebellion because the the bride is kind of free. She's free with her movements. She dances wildly and she's crazy. And Frankenstein is kind of the one that kind of holds back the creature. He kind of holds back and stuff. And then eventually they kind of bond. They bond and they literally start. They literally start a movement. Okay. And I think what's great about this movie is they have a lot of scenes of the Frankenstein monster. Christian Bale, he's really like a lonely guy, and he loves these musicals. And Jake Gyllenhaal plays which is of course Maggie Gyllenhaal's brother. He plays an actor who stars in these series of movies. I think in the 1940s, 1930s, 1940s styles of movies where they sing and dance and stuff. And like I said, he's the creature played by Kristen Bale. He's kind of a romantic at heart. He really is, and he's really just lonely. And once he has this creature, and she, her wildness, and they bond, and they literally go across the country, basically on this sort of like a Bonnie and Clyde type of an adventure across the country. Stuff, except they're not stealing. They're not robbing and stealing people. They're just acting crazy and running through towns and stuff. And it's just so really to see them together. Okay, especially once the bride, she starts bonding with the monster. They have this great adventure running, going across the country, being chased by detectives and all this stuff. And it's so crazy, because there's a great dance sequence in the middle of this movie where they start dancing. And I think Kristen Bale, again, he's a great actor anyway, but that this some scenes of him just sitting in the theater watching these movies starring Jake Gyllenhaal as this actor who sings and dances his way through through these movies and stuff, and you can see the fascination in his eyes, that how he's enraptured with it because he knows this guy. The way these movies are, where the guys, typically they fall in love, they fight with the girls, they get back together and stuff, and they dance their way off, and you can see he that's what he wants. He's lonely, and he wants somebody that he can dance with and just enjoy and fall in love with, and he actually gets that. And the weird thing, not the weird thing, I guess, in a way they kind of frame it if you watch the movie. By I'm telling you, what's her name? Who created the monster? Uh, Mary Shelley. I'm sorry, I'm trying to think. The author who wrote it. They kind of frame it through her eyes. The bride is kind of her next expression in a way. They kind of make it that way, that this is that the bride is the next expression of Mary Shelley that she would write, and they kind of frame it through that way. And it's really, he really gets some really good, interesting scenes in this movie. Okay, it's not boring. Okay, I tell you that much. It's just really interesting and crazy, and to see these crazy creatures, and you kind of root for them to see them, and you love seeing them together, especially after they bond and stuff, and running across the country together, singing, laughing, and like I said, they literally start a movement with people dressing like the bride and her wacky makeup and stuff. And it's a really unusual film, but it's definitely entertaining and it's not boring at all. Okay, it's really out there. Okay, and again, I love the chemistry there between the monster there, Kristen Bale and Jesse Buckley, who plays basically I think two characters. He plays Mary Shelley and also he plays the bride in there, and also special props to what's her name, Ned Benning, who plays the female scientist. Okay, and you get supporting work from Penelope Cruz and Peter Skarsgård as two detectives, trying to trace these people across the country while they're going on their mad, spree of fun and murder and mayhem across the country. It's a weird movie, but it's definitely interesting and definitely worth watching if you want to see a different take on The Bride. Because I know I think there was a movie called The Bride, along with Jennifer Beals and I think Sting, that came out years ago. I think I saw that once. I think that was a long time ago. And of course, you have the original, The Bride of Frankenstein, which is a classic. Okay, this one I think is a very interesting movie and different take on, The Bride. Okay, and the monster exactly. And Kristen Bale is incredibly sympathetic as the creature who's just lonely and wants to find some, he wants to have his own musical moment. And there's a great scene in this movie. Okay, then I want to just make a special mention of when he actually gets to meet Jake Gyllenhaal's actor character in the movie. He actually gets to meet him in person, and the way Kristen Bale's monster creature acts when he sees his idol in front of him. It's just a piece of great acting to me, just to see that interaction with his character. It brought like a smile to my face just to see how somebody just basically fangirling over somebody he has a great admiration for. Okay, and it's just like chef's kiss, that scene. I actually love that. But again, just special props to Jessie Buckley, who, like I said, she's playing two different characters: the bride and Mary Shelley, and also again Kristen Bale is the monster as well. So I really enjoyed this movie a lot. I know Grace Randall, I think she hated the movie from Beyond the Trailer, but I don't think this movie is awful at all. I think this movie is definitely interesting. It definitely stands out. Okay, definitely not boring. Okay, and definitely worth seeing if you're into if you like those character of the creature and also the bride and this different take from Maggie Gyllenhaal, who I think direction is really good in this. So again, I would give this movie a I would give it I would give it 3 stars. Okay, especially specifically once those crazy wacky creatures go on the run and stuff and have their adventures across the country and stuff. And there's a great sequence of them in New York, and it's just again visually the style is absolutely crazy and out there, and it's a crazy movie. It really is, but it's not boring. It's never boring. Okay, so I'm gonna give this movie 3 stars. Okay, like I said, if you're into this, okay, even if you're not into horror movies, it's not a strictly horror movie. It's definitely a movie about longing and about loneliness and people bonding together and stuff. Definitely see this movie. Okay, I would definitely recommend it. Go see it. Okay, anyway, 3 stars for me. Anyway, let me know what you think. If you've seen The Bride, what do you think of it? Feel free to leave comments down below. In the description box, I have links to my Facebook, my Twitter, my Instagram. Also have a link to my other channel, Paul Views and Opinions. You can check that out as well. Also have a link down below to my merchandise store, where I have two designs on my merch. I have the Trey Passer logo. Excuse me, I have it the wrong way. Sorry about that. I have Trey Passer logo. There it is right there. And I have the spherical circles. That's the other design I have on my merchandise. I have it on t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, hoodies, water bottles, teddy bears for men, women, unisex. Follow a link. It'll take you to my merchandise store. Also, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps the channel, and I truly appreciate it. Also, hit the subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when I upload new content to this channel. And this is Trey Passer saying so long and take care.